Hi there, and welcome to a Planet Zoo educational experience. I'm Elle, and I'm one of the community managers at Frontier. And today we're at Shepreth Wildlife Park, learning a little bit about some of the animals that you can find both in the base game and the new Wetlands Animal Pack. Shepreth Wildlife Park has the Shepreth Wildlife Conservation Charity, which raises money for their conservation efforts and also for their hedgehog hospital. And you can learn a lot more about that down below in the links. Right now, we're going to take a look at some capybara. Today I'm joined by Eve, one of the workers here at Shepreth Wildlife Park. Hi Eve.
Hi Elle, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm very excited to learn more about the capybara.
Everyone loves a capybara.
They are a favourite, definitely a big fan favourite with our community.
Huge fan favourite with our people as well. We have so many people coming to meet our capybaras. It's actually our most popular experience.
I can see why. Look at them, they're so lovable.
They are. This one is particularly confident. This one is Pepita. She's the daughter of Jinx and Paz, and she has a twin brother Manny, and hopefully the whole family will come and join us in a moment. But Pepita is the bravest, so she's the first one to take the plunge.
Am I fine to give them a scritch? Apparently not.
So the interesting thing is that capybaras have a startle reflex. The reason they do that is they're a prey animal where they come from. So they are found in the rivers of South America, mostly in the Amazon basin, where they perform a really important ecological function. But they're also part of the food chain. So they're often eaten by anaconda and jaguar and things like that. So how they get away from that? Basically, they keep an eye out, and if anything startles them, they go, "Arr!" They bark, they take off, and then they'll turn around and see, was it actually a threat? So very often they'll do it with me, they'll go, "Ah!" And then they'll go, "Oh, it's just Eve, it's not a problem, that's fine. I can just carry on. It's not an anaconda, it's not a jaguar." So, come back here, Peppy. We want to see your lovely little face.
Come join us.
Come join us, Peppy. Now, Peppy's name is Pepita. That's her full name. Pepita is Spanish for nugget. So when she was born, she was only 2 kilos.
Oh, so small.
She's about 28 kilos now, so she's grown a lot. She was born in August. So 2 kilos when she was born, 28 kilos now. Pepita means nugget. Her brother is called Manny, which is Spanish for peanut. So that was a public naming competition. People were able to vote on the names. Yeah, we're quite pleased with that. Nugget and
very
peanut
cute choices.
are very cute choices.
Public
if I
chose
just
well.
lift her up a bit like that, hopefully you'll be able to see. Can you see those teeth?
We can see those teeth, they're huge.
So those teeth tell me something about her. They tell me that she is a rodent. Now rodents have very long incisors at the front and at the bottom, and those are used for severing leaves, but also as one of their main defenses. So as I said, if a predator approaches them, they bark and run. But if they get cornered, they're going to use those teeth as a defense. And the males actually use it to fight with each other as well. And it's horrendous. They can take huge chunks out of each other with those big, big teeth. But rodents' teeth grow all through their lifetimes. So we have to provide them with a lot of things for gnawing. Same as if you've got a guinea pig at home.
Yeah.
In fact, these are in the guinea pig family. So they have to have logs and bits of hard vegetable like carrots in order to wear those teeth down, because they would naturally wear them in the wild. Now I said they're part of the guinea pig family. They're technically known as cavies. So cavies is one of the family groups within the rodent order. And so they really are essentially big guinea pigs.
They are the biggest rodent, aren't they?
They are. They're the world's biggest rodent. And you can see here we've got some grain. Now this grain is literally just guinea pig pellet that you can buy from a pet food store.
I was going to say it looks very familiar from when I've had pet rodents in the past.
And the reason we have to give them this grain is that their natural diet has a lot of high vitamin C in it. So they eat water weeds where they come from that are packed with vitamin C. Now capybaras and guinea pigs and humans and other primates, old world primates, have one thing in common, and that is that they cannot produce their own vitamin C. Most animals can produce their own vitamin C in their bodies. Humans can't. That's why sailors in the past got scurvy.
That's why we drink our orange juice.
That's why English people are called limeys. And so we give them this guinea pig pellet because it's fortified with extra vitamin C. They can't get it from things that are grown in English soil, and so we have to make sure we give it to them so we don't end up with scurvy-riddled capybaras.
No, we want healthy cappies.
Yes, they eat water weeds, as I just said, but they fulfill a really important function. Their niche is exactly the same as the niche of a hippopotamus. So,
hippo.
You might know the word hippopotamus means river horse. So
yes.
Hippo means horse, potamus is river. And a river horse, a hippopotamus in Africa, lives in the rivers and it eats water weeds. Mm-hmm. And without a hippopotamus, the weeds would overgrow, they'd clog up the waterways, the rivers wouldn't be able to flow. And so, a lot of chain reaction further down the line means a lot of life wouldn't actually be supported by the rivers. It's exactly the same with capybaras. In the Amazon River, they eat a lot of water weeds that would otherwise clog up the waterways, and that means that they keep the rivers really healthy. So although they're actually a common species, they're really critically important for conservation because they are keystone species, and their health affects the health of all the other animals in the ecosystem.
You know, everything I expected to learn more about when learning about capybaras, it wasn't hippopotamus.
Exactly, but have a look at them. Their nostrils and their eyes and their ears are all in a line on the top of their heads, just like a hippo. So they will duck down below the level of the waterline and be able to peer out and just have their little ears twiggling, exactly the same way a hippopotamus's ears swivel back and forth. And their nostrils are there, able to just breathe out of the water and peep their little eyes out as well. So very, very similar to the anatomy of a hippo. They've also got slightly webbed toes, just like a hippo does.
Oh, yeah.
They're short and stocky and squat. They don't have soft downy hair, they've only got long guard hair. So when they come out of the water, they dry off really quickly. So actually, very, very similar, and this is what's known as convergent evolution. So it's when you've got two animals, completely different family groups, so hippos and ungulate, these are rodents, completely different places where they live, Africa and South America. However, they've both evolved to fulfill the same ecological niche, and so they've evolved to have the same sorts of bodily functions and bodily features.
It does actually make sense, since of course one of the things the cappies is most famous for is their bathing, which we have added bathing behaviours into Planet Zoo now. Ooh. With these and with our Japanese macaques. So you can enjoy that if you are joining Planet Zoo, but it's so great to see them in the water.
Oh, these guys are hilarious in the water. So we've got a pond here with a waterfall flowing into it, and they will very often belly flop. So they'll sprint up to the waterline, fly into the air and then crash down in the water. They also defecate in the water. So our keepers here, we've got our poo scooper. It's a net that we use to scoop into the water and flick out the poo. They are quite prolific poopers, as most herbivores are, because they eat an awful lot of food and that goes right through their system. But the reason they defecate in the water is in the wild, because it would be a free-flowing water and not a lake like we have here, that feces would get swept down away from where they're living, and so predators can't use the feces as a way to track them.
That makes sense.
So it's very, very clever. The other thing they like to do in the wild, in rivers and lakes, and in fact they do it here in our lake as well, is procreate. So when Manny and Peter were being made by Paz and Jinx, their parents, it happened in the water. And we think the reason for that is that Jinx is quite a lot heavier than Paz. She weighs about 65 kilos. He's about 55 kilos. He's a little bit shorter, and we think he actually needed the extra buoyancy to get up to do what he needed to do, basically.
Well, you know, at least he was efficient.
Yes, he is a very efficient boy. He spends an awful lot of time mating. But it's
Favorite
great
hobby.
because that's the result. These wonderful little babies we've got here.
So worth it. Look how cute. So we have actually got a little bit of an audience today. You told me this is Paz?
This is Paz. He's the father. You can tell he's male because he has that long patch on his nose. That's called his murillo. That is an organ that produces a chemical that he rubs onto trees and apparently smells really sexy.
I'm sure it does if you're a capybara.
But he's having a bit of a sulk over there at the moment. I'm not sure why.
He's refusing to join us.
I think he's probably a little suspicious of cameras and things like that.
Maybe he's camera shy.
Has he signed a release waiver?
I'm sure. Not entirely sure, but it's okay if he doesn't want to be on camera. This is what we've got Pepita for.
There's nothing like a capybara for a disapproving look though.
Oh yes, I do love that they've got the little angry eyes. And that is all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for having me, Eve.
You're most welcome.
It has been so much fun. Have you had fun?
I've had a great time. I always have a great time when I'm with capybaras.
And I've had a great time because I'm getting to pet one, but as sad as I am to go, that has been an amazing experience. So today we are at Shepreth Wildlife Park, learning all about these wonderful animals and raising money for Shepreth Wildlife Conservation Charity, which goes towards their conservation efforts and also their hedgehog hospital. You can find out more about that and where to donate if you check out the links below. And we hope you've had a wonderful time. Let us know your favourite capybara fact down in the comments below. Thanks guys.
Thank you.